This is NOScast here, episode 28. Actually, we are on 28. I thought we were on 26, but I was on a dead ass wrong. We're on 28.
Damn.
Yes, damn.
28.
Yeah.
Niju Hachi.
So, we're gonna start off as an itchy as of December 14th at 6:29 on my side p.m. How has your day been?
It's been a day. I got up pretty early today to go see my brother off for him to go back over to Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And
So that means he lives by Merrick then. If he lives, or Merrick lives in West Virginia.
does Merrick live in West Virginia? I mean, that's where Noble lives now.
So, because I know West Virginia and Virginia are two different states because Virginia would be very big if that's the case, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just like I think North Dakota and South Dakota, they split up.
In North Carolina, South Carolina.
Yes, in North Carolina and South Carolina, they split that up too. So, yeah. Because it would be way too big, even though I think California and Texas and Florida are hella big too.
Yeah, they're huge.
I think Texas and Florida are bigger. No, Texas and California are bigger than Florida, as in size, not as people, but as in size.
I think maybe, yeah. What do you think? California or Florida? What'll sink first?
Well, Texas is on the water, California is on the water, and Florida is on the water too.
Florida's got like the swamps and shit. So part of Florida's already like you ever heard of the Everglades?
Mm-hmm.
Florida's like already partially underwater.
Really?
Yeah,
How much underwater though?
like it's a swamp. So it's underwater.
Well, they do got crocodiles. They do got crocodiles, so I'm not surprised. California always has crocodiles in captivity,
Right.
but Florida actually has crocodiles like out in the
I mean
wild.
that's where they're from.
It's
Like
Florida.
that's wild animal out there.
So
Well, would you be more scared of the snakes in Florida or the crocodiles?
both, like I would be more
Dude,
scared.
you see some of these like reticulated pythons like eating these crocodiles and shit. And like they'll sometimes die. Like they'll swallow the whole crocodile, but the crocodile will like rip their guts. It's
From the
crazy.
inside.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Imagine you see a crocodile coming out of a
Well, those
snake.
snakes, a lot of those snakes aren't even supposed to be there. Like the iguanas aren't even supposed to be there. They're invasive.
So why are they
But the
there?
snake, because of the pet trade, the illegal pet trade,
Interesting.
and like what there was like I know after I don't remember I don't remember which hurricane, one of the big hurricanes. They
Hurricane
had
Katrina.
I think so. I think it was Katrina. Um, and they had these like reptile buildings and shit that like blew apart, and that's when like the snakes really became a problem in Florida. The snakes
Well,
got out, and that's also a lot how the um other ones got out too.
well,
I mean, the crocodiles were already there. Like
yeah.
that's not exotic in or not California, but in Florida, crocodiles are native. But the reticulated pythons, no, they're not from there.
I heard palm trees are not originally like grown or naturally come out of Florida. I heard that palm
Yeah,
trees they were put there.
yeah. I being in Florida, like I remember being told that when I was younger, when I was in Florida. I was like, oh, they got palm trees. But like my mom being from California, she's like, yeah, they're from California. And it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah. So they plant the palm trees there.
that's what I don't think Florida has admitted to it because why would they? But it's a rumor going around that Florida doesn't naturally just grow palm trees. I think they were put there.
Yeah, it's probable.
Which is always a conspiracy theory, like, you know, the big conspiracy, like, the big thing is, like, you know, California is this big ass state which I live in, and
Hmm.
a lot of people don't like California because of the fucking hypocrisy it brings in and the drama, and plus it's a big expensive state and
Right,
brings a lot of money to America alone. I think because of Hollywood and whatnot,
right.
and when you have L.A. and then you have San Diego, you have San Francisco, and I would even include San Jose also because of San Jose Sharks. That revenue brings in like a lot of money
Oh
and
yeah,
when
for sure.
and whatnot to California. So that's what.
See, that's the same thing. Like, I mean, so does like tourism in California. Like, that's like the same type of stuff. Like, I mean, Disney World is like one of the biggest things Florida's got.
Well,
Um,
well yeah, Disney World. Doesn't Florida have like a Hollywood there too? Sort of like a Hollywood thing there too.
Orlando. I've been to Orlando, like in Universal Studios and stuff like that in Orlando.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They got like they're big, like theme park. Like they're a big just getaway type place. That's where Florida gets all its money, like from tourists. Um,
Well, Cal. Damn, I'm spitting shit out. California has tourism also because it's the capital of entertainment. I would say so, and
right,
and
right,
whatnot. I'm not. Well, yeah, it is the capital of entertainment. That's where Disneyland started. That's where Universal Studios, I think, started. That's where everything that basically big entertainment basically started was in LA.
right. But they also those same companies also got studios out in Florida,
Yeah, yeah.
like yeah, in like Chicago, and
Well,
I mean, obviously Chicago is not a theme park
no, but
like place,
they
but
venture out into shit. Like
yeah,
they look more. I would say they look more on the business side of out of everything. Like how much
Chicago does, or
mm-mm-mm. These big corporations, as in Universal,
mm,
Warner Brothers, Disney, you name it. They look at these where how do I get more people to see Universal Studios? How do I get more people to see Disneyland or Warner Brothers even also? Because you can do tourism around Warner Brothers. It's not like a theme park Warner Brothers, but you can do tourism around it. Just
right?
look at the area. And
You're talking
so
about like the actual studio where they do the
yeah.
tourism of the studio. Yeah,
So that's what they do is they would bring their shit out to Florida, which because of Florida is another tourist state. They would bring their areas out there to get the tourism to when they go back to wherever the fuck they came from. They 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 look at it in their own areas and whatnot, just where they're at on vacation and
right.
whatnot.
Like I look at it like that. I also look at it like what like multiple places to do a movie like for those specific companies, right?
Yeah.
Like Universal Florida, like they can
Hmm.
do stuff there, and they also can do stuff in California, whichever place is better. Um, for the certain thing,
Yeah, I
sometimes
like.
it flip flops and shit.
Well, yeah, like they have a range of stuff that they can do, and also I think like I've seen a lot of shows that I used to watch that were made at Universal Studios. Not even just Universal alone, but other people that their plots or whatever they were filmed at Universal. So Universal is not just Universal Studios. They have like Disney goes out and films at Universal sometimes
Hmm.
because they have plots there. Warner Brothers does the same shit. Other corporations do that also. They use Universal's plots because they have shit that they need there. And Universal probably does get a cut out of it because why would they let them use their plot if they don't get a cut? Like, they get some type of revenue. It's kind of like
Yeah, it's like
Microsoft.
renting out a studio.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like,
like you know how Microsoft has Internet Explorer and everything uses that. Like, it's kind of like they get money out of something also, like Microsoft. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anything that uses Internet Explorer uses Microsoft shit. They're
well, you
gonna
got to
get
think
some
about it.
money out of it.
So they're on Edge now. Internet Explorer isn't a thing anymore, but I
Well,
mean it is, but it
you
isn't.
get what I'm getting
But
at.
like, Edge is actually using Chromium,
Yeah, which is Google.
which is right, which is open source. Google isn't making any money off of Chromium.
Oh, okay. Uh huh.
They made Chromium, but they're not making any money off of it. They make money off of Chrome through the ads, but they made it open source. So like no money's made off of Chromium itself. Anybody can use Chromium, which is why Microsoft Edge is using Chromium.
Well, the comparison I was getting at, okay, like PlayStation uses Microsoft Edge, or PlayStation uses Microsoft Edge shit also, like so does Xbox uses PlayStation shit, like Blu-ray, like that's
Yeah,
PlayStation
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
and PlayStation uses the same exact shit that Microsoft uses in a way, so they all use each other's shit, and they make money off of each other. So it's kind of
Right.
like,
Who owns what?
yeah,
Like, yeah.
so they all make money off each
Microsoft
other,
owns
just
the
like
servers.
Microsoft owns the servers and Sony owns like the games and I don't know. They all go off of each other. That's what I'm saying. Universal has where they go off of each other. Disney goes off of Universal. Universal goes off of Disney sometimes, and so does Warner Brothers. Like they all go off of each other, but they're trying to take each other down at the same time in a way. Like if
It's
you,
competition, but they're also like being friendly. It's friendly
mm-hmm.
competition.
Yeah, because that's how you stay alive. If you're not friendly or you don't let other people use your shit, you're gonna assume.
Especially when it's that cutthroat, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like you're gonna end up going down the hole and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I've been to Universal Studios one time in California, Hollywood, basically you could put it as.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it looks like I went to the theme park, of course, but you could see the plots at Universal. You could see like out in the distance, you could see the plots and shit, and it actually looks. And we did a tourism around the plots, and you saw how Jaws was made. You saw how Fast and Furious was made. You saw how Transformers was even made. Like I saw other shows I used to watch. I kind of forgot what their names were, to be honest with you. But you saw like the plots that they were at, so to speak.
Right.
And it was kind of cool that you get to see like how they're made, or the plots they use to even though Fast and Furious goes to other countries and film, but they sometimes uses Universal's plots in a way to do other shit, like probably the stunts. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, like it was cool though. Like it was cool like to see other shit, like, and I haven't got to experience that again because one, I haven't been back to Universal Studios, and two, like it's very expensive to actually go back and like do that again because it's all very
It's not
expensive.
cheap.
And it was before COVID. This was before COVID. It wasn't even after COVID. It was before.
So you're saying it's more expensive now?
Shit. You're a fool if you think didn't go, because what's called Disneyland closed down when COVID happened. Disneyland was forced to close down their parks because of COVID, and in
Right.
one day, I think in like one day, they lost $1 million in one day. Just one day.
Because nobody was at the park.
Nobody was at the park because they were forced to close down. Like literally, they were forced. Disneyland would have stayed open because they got to make their money, but they were forced to close down because of COVID, and they lost like $1 million in like a day. And if you put that for 31 days, that's $31 million that you lose every single month you're closed down. That's fucking like insane. insanely crazy. So it was like $1 million. It's probably even over $1 million to be honest, but that's what I heard when it happened. They lost $1 million. And it were closed down for quite a minute. And whatnot. So, but anyway, so how long you been playing Modern Warfare 3 for now?
Uh, what, like, I've not that long, like 4 days. Like,
Okay. And the 4 days that you played it, which is including today, right? Or no?
yeah, including today.
How do you like it so far? Off your 4 days
It's
experience of opinion.
they just added on to Modern Warfare 2.
Okay.
Like
Oh,
the
okay.
very, very small differences. Like it's not terrible. Would I say it's worth the money?
Probably not.
No.
No. That's why I say it too. The only like, what about the movement? Because I would say the movement's kind of different than Marvel
With the
2's,
slide,
just in general.
it doesn't feel that different. I feel like some of the different mechanics they added kind of makes it feel slightly different. Um, I'd say the slide is the biggest difference with you, like with the slide shooting,
Mm-hmm.
or they call that the tactical shooting, right?
Yes, it's
I know
called
previous games
tactical.
have used it. I know previous games have used stuff like that, but and it feels way different in the previous games that have used it. Um, I don't know. It catches me off guard. I'm not quite used to that yet, but it doesn't feel too different than Modern Warfare 2. Maybe less like heavy, like with the running around, you feel less heavy.
Mm-hmm. To me, like, goddamn, people are texting me. To me, it feels like it's hard to enjoy like Modern Warfare or Call of Duty just in general sometimes because yeah, you're there just to have fun. You're there to play. You know what I'm saying? And when you get shit on after game after game after game after game after game, you're it's kind of
It's
like
less fun.
it's not even it's less fun. It forces you to do good. It forces you to fucking get cracked out. You know what I'm saying? To sweat. You know what I'm saying? Because you're in those higher KD lobbies or 1 KDs even, and you're in those higher KD lobbies where everyone in that game is cracked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you got to get cracked the fuck out. And when you do that for like 15 hours straight, just get cracked the fuck out, I would assume I haven't really done. Well, I have, but I haven't. I haven't done it for 15 hours, neither than 8 hours. But I would assume that it's very fucking exhausting to be cracked the fuck out for that long and then get off the game and go to bed. I would assume it's very like exhausting because you're literally like all hands on deck type shit, where there's no time to chill. It's literally like just fucking like your awareness is like it's like you're cracked the fuck out basically. You know what I'm saying? Where you don't give a fuck nothing that's going on. You just care about one thing and one thing only. Is going fucking insane basically.
Going ham.
Going ham. And don't get me wrong. That's cool when you do it, but when you do it for 18 to 15 hours straight, I see people doing that. I would be like, how do you like not go insane?
You
You
see
know?
people playing it that long?
Yes, there's people that literally like are cracked like every fucking game. They're cracked the fuck out for 15 hours straight. They will stream, and they're cracked the fuck out for 15 hours straight. From the time they wake up to the time they fucking go to sleep. The only time they're not cracked the fuck out is either they're going to the restroom or whatever the fuck.
Hmm.
And like even playing like Mom for 2019 when I was like kind of like cracked the fuck out a little bit, I would get off the game like exhausted. Like I don't want to do nothing more than just like chill in bed. I don't want to play. You know what I'm saying? And most of the
Right.
times, like, I was either streaming or, like, trying to get through the battle pass, which in that case, you would have to be cracked the fuck out to get through the battle pass and whatnot.
Right. Right. You're either gonna spend money on it or waste your time.
Yeah, which I do a little both now. But other than that, like, I try just to have fun. You know what I'm saying? And when I was playing Marvel 3, and it was just on Rust only, I kind of got cracked the fuck out. I ain't gonna lie. Where, like, I was
Yeah.
just like, I
Now
was,
that it's rust mint, that it's not good anymore because you got
yeah,
to deal with shipment.
yeah, like, shipment sucks. But even on shipment, there's people that are just cracked the fuck out. Where it's just like,
Well, that's like I feel like with the small maps, it's like more normal. Like if the maps were too big, like Ghost, then instead of seeing everybody cracked out, you'd be thinking everybody's camping.
but at the same time, it's like, I like, and that's because of SBMM, and that's
Right.
really because SBMM is like, and I took a break from calling Marvel 3. Like, I literally was playing Call of Marvel 3, not for 6 hours, I would say, but like every day I was playing Call of Marvel 3. I was getting like at least 1 or 2 guns gold every day. You know what I'm saying? Because I was playing it so much. You know what I'm saying?
That's like a 15-hour day, dude.
But getting gold in Marvel 3 is very easy. It's
Yeah.
well, depending on the gun. I want to put that, depending on the gun, it's very easy. And I would play from 4 or 5 o'clock p.m. to like 9 o'clock sometimes, and then I would get off, get ready for work, chill until I have to leave, and then go to work. But that's period of time I would get at least a gun and a half gold. Like a gun, and then maybe start on the next gun and maybe get halfway there, and then I would have to stop because of work. So, and that whole time, like, I would be getting cracked the fuck out. Like, I was literally like on Rust getting cracked the fuck out. And I would get off that game fucking like exhausted. I was just like, fuck, now I gotta go to work. And now then, like, I'm like at work the whole time, like, bro, I'm not feeling this shit. And I would do that every day. I literally got every, at least Mall for 3 gun, as in ARs, gold. Took me 5 days to do it. On Rust.
How many MW2 guns you got gold?
The M4, the MP5, the P90, or the Bulldog or whatever the fuck, the PP19. I think the P90. I got way less guns on Modern Warfare 2 gold than I have on Modern Warfare 3.
Hmm. Yeah, I noticed because they have like all the guns like between the different games, like they didn't care to like add a lot of guns this game, like at the get go.
Well, because
You
they
notice
already
that?
had Modern Warfare 2 guns, so like, well, we gotta.
Yeah, no, that's exactly my point. It's like because they're keeping them in there, it's like, oh, and the game's like $70. I haven't even played the campaign yet, but I hear it's pretty bad.
Yeah, the campaign shit. But at the same time, like, it kinda is like, it doesn't like there's more Modern Warfare 2 guns than Modern Warfare 3. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
There's
for
more
sure.
Modern
There's
Warfare
plenty
2
more.
guns than Modern Warfare 3. Not saying after like all the 6 battle passes come through and all the guns they put in the game, it might be balanced out, but at the same time, like, Modern Warfare 3 should have been just a DLC. That's really what it should have been. It should have just been a
Yeah,
DLC.
that's what it was
It was
supposed to be. And I think
supposed to be.
why they released it the way they did, where it's like actually a part of Modern Warfare 2. Like they're the same exact game, same
Well,
icon, everything.
well,
Because like,
it's not even just that. They deliberately, what's the word? Fuck. They were said there was supposed to be a DLC for Modern 2. They were gonna bring out Modern Warfare 3, and there was supposed to be a DLC for Modern 2. Instead, because Modern Warfare 2 did so fucking terrible, and Modern Warfare 3 is now doing even more terrible, they brought it out as a full-fledged game. You know what I'm saying? Which they
And
didn't need
like
to do that.
added as like an update to
Yeah,
Modern Warfare
to
2 to
Modern
make
Warfare
it
2.
look like a DLC.
Yeah, they didn't need to do that at all. They didn't need to do that. They should just made a
Well, it's
deal.
because if they didn't, then they would have caught themselves in a lie.
Well,
This way, they can at least say that they didn't lie.
okay. Modern Warfare 3 was supposed to be a DLC. Okay, that's what it
Right.
started out as. It was supposed to be a pack of DLC, and they were supposed to bring all the Marvel 2 guns into it, or Marvel 2, all the Marvel 3 maps, all the Marvel 3 guns, and it was supposed to be into Marvel 2. And it was supposed to be still a Marvel 2 shit, just DLC. Okay? And most likely it wasn't going to be a $70 DLC. But at the same time, they said, fuck that. We're going to make this a full-fledged game. And Sledgehammer had, like, what, 6 months to make this game? Like, 9 months?
Yeah.
9 months or whatever to make this game. That's why the campaign was so terrible. That's why the game was terrible in general. Like not even just movement. Like, the movement, I felt like it was cool. But the game just felt... It wasn't fleshed out. You know what I'm saying? They kind of, like, just picked their poison and was like, this is our game.
Well, they just took the Modern Warfare 2 engine, right, and then they added a couple tweaks to it to like make it slightly different, and
Mm-hmm.
then
Well, you could say that
remade a
as
bunch of old maps.
Vanguard then, right?
Yeah, same thing.
Because Vanguard was basically Marv 3, or not Marv 3, was Marv 2019, but Vanguard. Which I actually
Right.
liked Vanguard.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually liked Vanguard. But that was when, like, I was cracked the fuck out, basically. And I was playing that shit a lot, and then when Season 1 came out, I was like, fuck that. I ain't playing this shit. I took a year off. And then when Marvel 2 came out, I got cracked the fuck out again. And then I took another year off, basically. A little bit. Or like 9 months. 6 months off of that game. No, 7 months. Not 7 to 9 months off on Marvel 2. I couldn't... I just couldn't get back into it. And then Marvel 3 came out, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna get back into it again. And then I took me another day off, or it took me another, like, what, a week or 2 weeks off from Marvel 3, and then I get back on. I'm like, well, shit. It seems like it hasn't changed. It's like the same shit. Like, that's why people reverse boost on Call of Duty now. Is to get away, to try to make Call of Duty as regular as possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to make it to where
It's manageable. You
so
know?
they don't have to sweat.
We're not even... So they don't have to sweat. They don't have to sweat as hard. They don't have to get cracked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Even though there is people that reverse boost and still get cracked the fuck out because they can. But it's like... Then they just get to chill. They get to, like... It's kind of like how old Call of Duty was. From Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1 and... Like, you know what I'm saying? You just play, you know? You don't get to experience that no more. Like, there's no experience. Like, yeah, they brought back map voting, but you still get kicked out of the lobby and get put into another lobby. Like, it's still the same exact shit.
Well, like getting kicked out, because like I think the main reason they did the kick out of lobby stuff is to make those skill-based matchmaking even stronger.
Indeed.
Because like if you're in persistent lobbies, then the skill-based matchmaking isn't going to go into effect until you quit the lobby and join the new one.
Exactly.
Whereas if you get kicked out of the lobbies, then they can always skill-based matchmake you.
Exactly. I think how Call of Duty World War II and Black Ops 4, I think, did it, because Black Ops 4 didn't kick you out. You were in the same lobby over and over and over again. Is you do 5 games. And in those 5 games, if you're doing terrible or even doing better, in those 5 games, you would get kicked out of the lobby. Like how you do in Modern Warfare 2019 and up. You get kicked out of the lobby and get put into a different lobby. You know what I'm saying? Unless you leave it, then, like, Yeah, but if you stay in the same lobby for 5 games straight, then that's like 40 minutes, I would say, depending on what game type you're doing. They will kick you out of the lobby and put you into another lobby, which is even more sweaty or even less sweatier. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's how Call of World War II and Black Ops 4 did it, where is in that way. Because I would do good some games, and then like I would be playing for 5 games and just do terrible. Like I would do decently, but I would do terrible. And then the SB moment will kick me out and put me into another lobby. And I'm just shitting on motherfuckers the whole game for 5 games straight. Black Ops, or not Black Ops, the newer Call of Duties, it doesn't matter if you shit on people or not. They're still going to kick you out, and you're going to be put into another sweatier lobby. The more you do better.
Right.
And whatnot. And that's like...
It tweaks it every match instead of...
Well, it's not even tweak it every match. It's kind of like they punish you for doing well. You know, you get punished because you're good. You know,
and you get rewarded for doing bad.
And you get rewarded for doing bad. That's why it doesn't make sense. As in, because they want to protect the people that just play for casual and they suck ass at the game. They want to protect them to make them feel better about themselves, to make them want to buy skins, to buy the battle pass, you know, do whatever.
They want to make everybody want to buy skins. The people that are at the top of the top, they're like just good at the game. So like they're going to be buying skins to flex on the other good players. The bad players, they buy in it because they think it looks good.
Well, yeah, but
they need to be happy enough to play the game without getting too frustrated. But they also want to flex.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? They want them. That's what I'm saying. Call of Duty wants to make money, and Xbox now owns Call of Duty, but they haven't like
done anything yet.
They haven't put it into effect to make it seem like Xbox. It still seems like Activision.
I think they really just wanted King.
Really?
Yeah, because Activision owned King.
Yeah,
which is one of the. That's like
Crush,
the biggest mobile. Yeah, that's the biggest mobile developer. Cash cow, bigger cash cow than Call of Duty.
Well, yeah, but it's not even a bigger cash cow than Call of Duty.
It's a bigger cash cow than Call of Duty.
Most definitely. But at the same time, if Candy Crush is such a big cash cow, how come Activision is overly forcing this Call of Duty shit, making it seem like they don't make billions of dollars every day because of the battle pass and skins that they put out at $20 each?
Why are they trying to push it so hard? Like the skill base?
Yeah. Why is it being pushed so hard? If King was such a cash cow, I'm not saying you're lying, but if King is such a cash cow, why is this?
Because Call of Duty, why should you only have one cash cow and you have many?
Well, you have Overwatch 2, which is also like a cash cow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have, I don't know, like you still have like Modern Warfare 2019 and Cold War and Vanguard and Marvel 2 that still make money to this day. People are still buying those games to this day because they want to play the newer CODs, even though they shouldn't be $60. Like Vanguard Black Ops 4 Ultimate Edition is still $100.
Yeah, like it's crazy for sure how everything is still priced and how they milk the hell out of it.
You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
and the CEO for Activision supposedly is leaving this year. Like it's supposedly by the end of this year he's gone. Like he's out of here.
Retiring, but he's kind of getting pushed out, right?
Yeah, he's retiring / pushed out, which then Phil Spencer can come in and do his shit. But at the same time, you haven't seen Xbox do anything as in remotely doing
Well, they're
anything to Call
gonna
of Duty.
take it slow. They got to be careful with Call of Duty because I know that Call of Duty is actually one of the things that's like a concern, like on Sony's books, right?
Mm.
With them buying um, Activision Blizzard.
But at the same time, it's kind of like a push of a button. They could change SBMM totally with a push of a button. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
they
Xbox
have the
can
whole algorithm. I'm sure they're trying to figure out like they're doing experiments in the background, right?
most definitely.
Trying to find the middle ground and like, oh, when this happens, more people buy skins.
Hmm.
Like you said, like, oh, they want the bad players to buy skins and the good players to buy skins. If the bad players are always mixed in with the good players, then they might get too aggravated. So
Yeah.
like they tweak it around a little bit every single time. They
Well,
tweak they maybe even during like the same game, they'll tweak it, right? Like the skill based matchmaking and how it works. And they'll get metrics that you and I are not able to see, right?
yeah, and
And they'll find a correlation that when skill based matchmaking is this retarded, then people spend more money.
but even like at the same time, like Halo Infinite has SBMM. Okay, it has it, but it's not cracked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of games have SBMM.
Their own version of it.
Their own version. Yes, they don't have
Right.
Call of Duty SBM, but their
They
own
can't use they can't use Call of Duty's version
because
because it's patented,
it's
right?
patent, indeed. But at
Mhm.
the same time, excuse me. At the same time, they have their own SBMM shit. Cool, but a lot of people don't have cracked out SBMMs in a
Right.
way, as in like uh, I've been talking about this game for a bit. What's the game called? X Defiant. X Defiant. That game hasn't came out yet. But when it did come out, there was no SBMM at all. None.
In the beta.
In the beta. And there's not gonna be no SBMM at all in the full game. Now when they go to what's the shit where like pro players go to? What's it called? Call of
The
Duty does
esports
esports, but there's a game mode they call it. What is it called?
search.
No, not search. Yes, search, but it's a game mode. It's been in since Black Ops 2, I think. Where it's literally like you get measured on like what medals you have.
CDL.
Yes, that's too. But there's a game mode. I forgot what it's called. But they until they bring out that game mode, there's not gonna be no like SBMM to put into play into X Defiant.
Oh, so yeah,
The
I know what mode, the competitive.
yeah, the competitive mode, which a lot of games have a competitive mode, like Rainbow Six Siege, for example. But Rainbow Six Siege's competitive mode is only in competitive. Then you have regular Rainbow Six Siege, which is just casual, like shit. You know what I'm saying? Where
Mhm.
anyone in your lobby is anything. It doesn't matter if they're cracked out or not. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same shit as XDefiant, as in anybody is anybody. You can get cracked out players, you can get regular players. Either way, not everyone's gonna be the same as you. Halo doesn't have that. There's SBMM, but it's not cracked out. So does other games also that are FPS that I played. It's not totally cracked out, but you're not in these games where it's just like, fuck, I'm not gonna give me a kill this game, basically. Because everyone's cracked the fuck out. That's how Marvel 3 is. We're like, if it's too cracked the fuck out, when you get into a lobby, you might not even
Right.
get a kill.
So I have a question, right? I'm not saying it is or it isn't like too cracked out, but like let's say, would you say when you do get shifted in the skill based matchmaking, would you say they're around your skill or you get put into lobbies that are just too hard?
I would seem like I get put into lobbies that are way too hard. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
place you. Like they're not putting you in like your actual skill bracket, but like way
Yeah,
above.
way above my skill bracket sometimes. Like that's, and it could be just me, just because maybe like my first game or whatever, that my hands have to get used to the controls, or not even just get warmed up. Basically, if you want to put it technical, get warmed up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be put into games that maybe are a higher bracket than I am, but I can still stand my ground to a certain extent until my hands get warmed up. You know what I'm saying? Which may be a game or two or even three sometimes. You know?
So you're saying it's only not your skill rank because you're not warmed up yet.
Well, no. Okay, I put that in the wrong way. When I am warmed up, I do get into games I feel like are way higher bracket than what my KD is. So I could be in like a 2 KD. I'm in a 1.5 or was a 1.7. Now I'm a 1.5. And they put me in a 2 KD, and then when I do terrible, then they put me back into like my regular KD shit. That feels like more balanced out. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel sometimes. Now, like you said, you're not confirming or denying this, and no one knows that's really true or not. But at the same time, you can never know because you don't know what other people's KDs are.
Exactly, because you don't get to see.
You don't get to see that. But
I would presumably believe that if their skill-based matchmaking was working optimally, that almost everybody would be around a 1.0.
Really?
Yeah, if it was working perfectly, almost everybody would be around a 1.0. You wouldn't see very many 2.0 above. You wouldn't see very many above a 1.0.
That's what you feel like?
If it was working optimally.
Okay.
If the skill-based matchmaking was working optimally, it would be sweat nonstop for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be in your skill bracket. But it would be sweaty in your skill bracket, and everybody would be around 1.0 KD.
See, but I'm a 1.5.
A 1.05 or
Yeah.
1.
1.05. I'm a 1.05. I was a 1.07, but now I'm a 1.5. Now,
I say around 1.0 KD because like you do raise and like shrink, but like the optimal point, like where it would think you're in your skill bracket is if you're probably exactly sitting at 1.0.
which I am not.
Right, you're close.
I'm close, but
You
like
keep dripping.
I would drop and then I'll go back up, and then I'll drop again and then I'll go back up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but at the same time, I never know what really my KE is. You never really get to know how good you really are until they kind of get rid of the SBMM. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you get put in with the same people as basically copycats of what you are. You know what I'm saying?
Like
so everyone's just gonna be killing each other basically.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to find out what your real KD is because
sitting at a certain skill bracket, right? And people come in and like play and they get put into that skill bracket. They'll see how everybody in that skill bracket is playing, right? And then you get a skill bracket that's higher and they end up having a completely different meta. So like let's say the people at the lowest skill bracket probably like don't give a shit about what weapons they're using. They don't really have a play style, so it feels like chaotic. And then you have people like at the next level skill bracket, you'll start to find people using specific weapons and specific like movements that they're doing, like the way they move around the map. So that starts to get better, and like even more so as you get to the even further up skill brackets.
Now,
every time you change a skill bracket, you're playing against people with a whole different play style.
Yes, indeed. And now, What's your KD?
My KD right now is pretty ass. Last I checked, it was 0.8.
Okay. Now, damn. Now, when you get into those lobbies, like a point, like a 0.08 or like
No, 0.8, like nine, almost a 0.9.
so 80, so a point
Yeah.
80. Okay, so it's almost close to like a 1.0 KD. So when you get into your lobbies, does it feel very sweaty?
Um, my first one did. It took me a couple matches to get used to. You say like there is slightly, it's is slightly different. I'd say it feels lighter than Modern Warfare 2 with the movement. The movement did kind of feel weird at first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like I said, especially the sliding, I feel like the sliding is the main thing that is different. Like
Yeah.
the tactical shooting.
Mm-hmm. So does your matches do you feel like a little sweaty?
Um, I don't know. Like sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Well, like even though like you're a point 0.8 KD, you're probably still probably maybe being put into 1 KD, you know, categories because you're so close, like what 20 KD off. I
Mhm.
would assume you're probably putting into 1 KDs also because you're so close now. If you're like a 50 or even a 30, then I wouldn't say so. But if you're a 1.8 KD, like or not 1.0 0.80 KD, I would assume you're maybe sometimes put into a 1.0 KD a little bit, depending on what it like, depending how good you do, you know. But at the same time, every lobby I get into remotely is sweaty. Every time I get into a game, it's a sweat fest. Cracked out fuckers. But when you get into like a probably a 0.030 KD lobbies, which I will probably never get into if I reverse boost though, it could be differently. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It could be different as in because like it's been proven many times from other people because other people have reverse boosters just to see like test and just see what can happen that the lobbies are a lot better in the lower lobbies. The connections are a lot better. The the games are a lot better
So yeah,
in contestant.
assumption of how their algorithm works for skill based matchmaking is in like as you get higher up in the skill based rankings, then because what they do is they have a thing that weighs out the skill base versus your connection. So like on
Yeah.
the low, it prioritizes connection over skill, and at the higher ranks, it prioritizes skill over connection. So then you can end up in laggier lobbies and higher skill brackets because it's spending more time trying to find your skill bracket. The odds of somebody like enough people around you at the same exact skill bracket is pretty low.
Mhm. Yeah.
Whereas when you're at the low skill brackets, the odds of people being around you at the same skill bracket is higher. So the higher skill bracket you're in, the less likely people around you are going to be in that skill bracket.
See, but at the same time, it's like connection should always be first, though. I feel like connection should always be first because why would you want to put someone?
That's the thing with their because I'm sure that over the years of them first doing this, like probably since back in Black Ops 2, um, when like the patents and stuff were first coming out for it.
Yeah.
When they were first doing it, I'm sure they've like tweaked it because they have the whole like probably like back end of the game where it can like they can basically just change the variables of the algorithm to change how heavy it is, right?
Yeah.
Um, so like I'm sure they over the games they've used the same thing, the same tool, upgraded it over the years, right? Um, and basically it can be changed on a dime. Like they might even like sometimes just as a joke turn it off because like everybody complains like, oh, if it wasn't in there we would notice, and then it turns out they don't notice when they turn it off. So then they're like, well, they're just gonna complain, so why stop?
Because everyone's just cracked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like, that's always a conspiracy theory. Like, if they turn off, would we ever know? Like, in my opinion, in my belief, I feel like I would notice it was turned off or not. But at the same time, it is Call of Duty, and Call of Duty is just known to be a fucking cracked out game now because everyone's just cracked out on it. You would notice it more in other games because you're not getting. Well, everyone plays Call of Duty, but you're not always getting Call of Duty players that play other games. Like, let's say X Defiant, for example. You're getting other people, like people that play Apex, people that play other games that don't usually play Call of Duty. That went to, okay, we'll try X Defiant then. Call of Duty, you're always going to get Call of Duty players. Like, I think the new norm for Call of Duty is just to get cracked the fuck out on that, if you know what I mean. It's just to
Right.
get cracked the fuck out because it's been known for that since so long now. Everyone just wants to get cracked the fuck out, basically.
You're either gonna shit on people or people are gonna shit on you.
Basically. But if you reverse
Like
boot,
imagine everybody, you go up a bracket and like everybody you're playing in that bracket went down a bracket. So they're used to playing on an even higher bracket. So even though you went up a bracket, those people are still playing an easy bracket mode for themselves.
mm-hmm.
So you never get the chance to move up a bracket, and they never get the chance to move up a bracket because imagine every single bracket above you is filled with people that were actually a bracket higher and got sent back.
Basically, if you really look at it,
Like it once everything evens out, then everybody will just be ticking up and down the same brackets, never getting actually any better after that.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, you never know how good you really are. You know what I'm saying? You never know because you're always putting into brackets that are basically the same bracket as you, or you're getting punished for doing good. So you never really know what your skill level really is on some games until
Well, you say you're getting punished for doing good, but it's simply just changing brackets, right?
which is punishment.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, it's a game. So like it's a level up pretty much. And when you level up, things get harder.
But see, at the same time, what they really should do to make everyone know what the hell is going on. You know what I'm saying? Because people just play Call of Duty. They don't know what bracket they're in. They don't know what skill level they are in SBMM. They don't know. They're just playing. You know what I'm saying? They're like fucking
Right. They want to play casual, they'll play like
yeah, they're just playing the game. They don't give a fuck. But if you put this data on a game, you know what I'm saying? If you put this data on a game and show people you're in this bracket, you're, whatever the hell, in the SBMM, data shit of Call of Duty, then they'll be okay. That's more data to see how good they are, or there's more data, like let's say, like there's different brackets for a 0.80 KDs, like you know what I'm saying, for the 0.30s and 80s and 50s, there's different brackets, and then the 1.0 KDs have different brackets, and the 2.0 KDs, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? You get there. That's what I'm thinking. That there's different brackets for different shit. You know what I'm saying? As in the 1 KDs have their own brackets, the 0 KDs have their own bracket, just like the 3.0s have their own brackets too. You know.
right, right.
But if you put that data out there and show people what quote unquote bracket or whatever the fuck good they are, then they can plan out their next move of what they want to do, as in gun choices, attachments, as in gameplay styles, even, or movement style. Like, you know what I'm saying? they can be more objective to what they want to use. You know what I'm saying?
If they took out the skill-based matchmaking,
Not
or
even,
if
not even
they
took
like
out.
showed the data,
They
like
put the data
showed
out
showed
there.
the data.
Yeah, showed the data on the game. You know what I'm saying? Because you have the, there's data on the game, but if they show it in plain sight what your data is, and they let other people to see what your data is, then that would prepare people for the game situation, for that match. You know what I'm saying?
So if you saw everybody's skill in the lobby you're in,
Mm-hmm.
you'd have an idea of how to expect
What,
them to
like,
play.
how good you might do, what to expect, who's probably cracked out or not, and you know what I'm saying, until, like, if they don't do that, you just got to get into the game in like 5 minutes, and you're like, damn, this dude's hella cracked out. You know what I'm saying? But if you
Right.
show that in pregame lobbies and show that data out, then you can prepare yourself. You can prepare, and the game might be totally different. The match might flow a totally different, way.
It
You
might
know,
have a different outcome
it might have a
because
different
some
outcome.
people would get prepared.
Get more prepared for the the outcome when you get into the game, and then
They're
5 minutes
gonna, instead of trying to go finish up this new camo they're trying to do, they're
they'll
going to end up otherwise using the gun that they're best with.
yeah, basically what I'm saying, get cracked the fuck out. Because if this dude's getting or this person is getting cracked the fuck out, then this person's gonna get cracked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Then everyone's gonna get cracked the fuck out if everyone's getting cracked the fuck out. But when you when you get into lobbies as of these days, you don't know who's cracked the fuck out now. You can kind of tell of prestiges maybe, and like calling cards even, or so to speak, sometimes, but not even that can really show if someone is gonna get cracked the fuck out or not. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, 'cause some people just play a lot.
yeah, some people just play a lot. Like, even like when you see them use their guns and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? You never really know who's gonna get cracked the fuck out. But if you show data and show this SBMM data to these people, as in this person is in this bracket in 1K, and they show
Show the data back before they actually were using skill-based matchmaking. The
well,
data
not
that they used to show.
well, yeah, like basically, like, you know what I'm saying, like, because like in older calls you could see what KDs people were, you could see
Their
like
best gun.
their best guns, the whole shit, and they took slowly out of each game, they took it out slowly but surely, because they don't want people to have that advantage, or they don't want people, because it will feel like they'll drift them away. They're like, oh, I don't want to be in this game lobby, I'll go into another game lobby. When in now you just go into the game lobby and just shoot for the best. Like, it's kind of like playing fucking roulette, basically. You put a bullet in the shit and you point it at your head and see if you die. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like roulette. You're just seeing what's up, basically. And if it's a terrible lobby, then you back the fuck up. But if it's a good lobby, then you stay in it. Like, it's kind of like you're kind of like picking your poison. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but if they end up, if they overhaul the game and fucking show the data, show everything that people need to be successful at the game, then it'd be a totally different objective. It would be a totally different thing. Every game will probably be different. You know what I'm saying? But they don't show it because it's like they're afraid people will be less interested, or people would back out of a lobby to go into another lobby, and then you're just gonna be sitting there for an hour trying to get into a lobby that people keep backing out because they keep finding people that are higher KDs than they are, or
Because
whatever.
the skill base, like if they were not getting into random lobbies, if they could see the skill based matchmaking at work, then they would be deterred by it.
Yeah, they would be deterred by it or whatever. And I feel like that is true, but at the same time, you have to prove that it's true. You have to prove
Mhm.
that, you know, people are gonna be deterred by it, and not just, it's I don't know, because like at the same time, there's been stuff going around that they now are putting AI bots into multiplayer and whatnot because of to even out the score in some game lobbies and shit. And there's been video proof of it doing it, and you know, and the whole shit. Which I
I
never
mean,
had that
they've been
experience.
doing that with like with the larger team modes and like the larger game
Well,
modes.
okay, but that's different though. I'm talking about like in regular
In the
multiplayer.
6v6,
Yes, in the 6v6 matches.
that's kind of like if they put bots in the 6v6, that's gonna make it like
Well,
feel
like,
like a ghost town.
well, it's not even just like that, but
It's
it
gonna feel like
looks
a
like,
ghost town. Like it's not a good look for them if they did that
of course,
because
like in
it's
war
gonna make
mode,
it look
it's
like
to
a
be
ghost town.
expected. In war mode, is to be
Mhm.
expected because it's a game. It's a big game mode lobby, and Warzone is to be expected. And War is gonna be expected. And Warzone is gonna be expected. And DMZ is expected. And Mall for these zombies is expected. Cool. And they put out there that yes, bots are gonna be in these modes. Cool. No one's gonna bitch and complain. Everyone speaks it. But in regular 6v6 matches, you put, you know, so to speak, bots in the game, even though they don't look like bots because they just make it where it looks like a regular player or a casual player. And then they see how they play and it looks like bot form. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like, they're putting bots in the game to make it seem like it's a regular player, to make it seem like they're,
They're
to eat
programming the bots to act like a
regular
player
player.
of a certain skill level.
Yeah, but at the same time, these
But
bots,
as soon as you notice that they're doing the same thing over and over, because they bots all have patterns, right?
yeah,
And
they
if you
all
see
have,
their patterns, then
yeah, and it's been proven many times that there are bots in the game, as in 6v6 lobbies, but no one knows if if it's really a bot or not. No one knows if it is a bot. It's just been told
well,
that.
like you said, like there are players that are using these tools to like reverse boost, right? They do the bot the
Well,
account.
so not even just that. There's a script that you
Yeah,
can get on Call of Duty for Call of Duty, and it will literally let you play the game. Like the AI will play and it will do shit. Like it will do terrible. And it's for reverse boosting also. It will do terrible. So you let it play out for like 5 games, and it won't play as you. It will play as like a bot. Like it'll play terrible, suck ass and shit to get you into like you know shorter like to get you
but
into
it's
better
playing
game.
on a legitimate account.
Yeah, it's playing on a legitimate account.
So
So
like some of those like things that people are seeing like that are bots, could it be potentially be people trying to do that
that's an also thing. Like
and not
no one knows.
Activision doing it?
Well, people still think Activision is putting bots in the game, but this script is something that no one really knows about because I didn't even know about it until I found it. Basically, like I found it on YouTube or some shit like that. I found it.
Right, but if it's on YouTube, then at least a few people are using it,
Well,
right?
yeah, at least a few, but like this script is not like how you see like video recorded as how you see it is not how the script goes. You know what I'm saying?
I got it.
This script is very you're just walking in like you're playing the game but it's very it's scripted like it's just like it's kind of like an AI bot just playing like it's playing as it goes basically like you know what I'm saying it's not really it's playing the game but it's not playing the game it's just walking around the area and people are going to just shoot you
So
and
you're
die
saying these bots that people are saying that Activision is doing is
is
more
more
active than
is
that.
more active than that yes a lot more active than that and that like instead of because how I used to reverse boost when I did reverse boost in a way is I would just sit in an area and just I would walk around the map and just die and sometimes get kills and sometimes don't get kills you know what I'm saying I just walk around the map and just die for 5 games and whatnot this you and then if you put the script in you can leave and the game will the script will keep going and after every end of match it will play another game and then play another it will start a new game and whatnot so you can walk away for like 40 50 minutes to an hour and come back and you play like 5 6 games without even knowing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how AI this like script is basically, which is kind of crazy. You really think about it.
Yeah.
So, at the same time, like I would say it's not been proven, even though there's video images of it, of this Activision AI bots and whatnot. Activision hasn't came out and said, yes, we're putting AI bots into 6v6. Why? To even out the matches. Or for bullshit reasons, I don't know. Like, but they haven't came out and said that. You know? So, no one really knows. It's just speculation.
Well, we don't even get to see like the player count. So like the biggest thing is like they're hiding the player count. Them adding bots, like it's one thing for them to even out like the fairness of the match, but like if they're actually doing it to like make it look like they have
More
more
people.
players, yeah, like Call of Duty might be dying, right?
Well, so Steam, you can't. So Steam actually shows the player count for every game.
For
You know,
just Steam though.
for just
Just
Steam.
Steam.
Yes, for just Steam.
Yeah.
Which Activision can't take that away. Like, they can't tell Steam, like, no, you can't do that
Right, but
because
you're not playing it through Steam, are you? You're
no, I'm
playing it
playing for
through
BattleNet.
Battle.net.
Yeah,
So like your data is not going to show up there.
of course not. But at the same time, as you know, that's only Steam players, and the Steam count for that game is like what 10,000 players or some shit. Like it's kind of getting lower. Like I don't know if it's 10,000, but it's very low. And that's just
Right.
Steam. Who even knows? Because
Right.
BattleNet's not gonna show. Because BattleNet's owned by Activision, so they're not gonna show shit. But at the same time,
Does Xbox or PlayStation show?
no, they don't show shit either. But at the same time, the algorithm, you can go with the algorithm as in what Google was saying of how many people look up shit for Modern Warfare 3 or how much shit's being looked up for Call of Duty in general. You can look at the algorithm as in you can use certain data that Activision can't take away and put that in content. Now, you can variable see how good Modern Warfare 3 is doing in those ways, but you're never gonna have solid data. You know what I'm saying? Because Activision is not gonna show it. It's been last done since like what, Call of Duty Ghosts?
Showing the data.
Yeah, data.
I think even in Ghost is when they started taking it out.
Okay, so I don't. Well, it could have been Black Ops 2 even. I don't really know. But Black Ops 2 is just shown with that game, so it's different on PlayStation 3 and PC. But at the same time, you at least get to see what's being put in. These games now, you don't get to see the player count. They never really show the player count for games. I don't know why that's not a thing anymore. Why they don't show player count, but it's not a thing. And it irritates a lot of people that they don't get to see, okay, how many people play this game, as in, let's say Fortnite. I don't think you get to see the player count for Fortnite, to be honest, but for Fortnite you don't get to see that, even though you have an estimation of how many people play Fortnite, but you never really get to see, I don't think, how many people are playing Fortnite at once and whatnot. But I don't know, like, it's kind of like, it's very like confusing of how good Modern Warfare 3 is doing sometimes and how bad they're
Right.
doing. But I don't
Because they hid it. They hid the information.
know. But Steam puts out the information, and so does Google. But Google only puts out variable information, so does Steam puts out probably all the information. But that's just Steam. You know, Steam can't go into Battle.net and try to put that information out too, because they'll probably get fucking sued or whatever. But on Steam wise, from Steam wise, it looks like it is doing terrible. But I don't know. But anyway, have you played Horizon Zero Dawn?
I have not. I've heard of it. I remember looking into it. Have I played that? I I definitely didn't beat it if I did touch it at all. I
So
remember
So
looking at. I don't remember if I
that
played it or not.
game. So I'm playing it on PC, and it's a PlayStation exclusive, but it's on Steam. And then the
Mhm.
second one is coming out on Steam too by next year. So I gotta finish that game by next year. But that game is like fucking crazy beautiful.
I heard, yeah.
It's like gorgeously beautiful. And then Assassin's Creed was having a sale, and I fucking almost bought every Assassin's Creed I've known to ban. Yeah, I kind of went a little crazy, but I almost bought every Assassin's Creed I've known to ban, which I'm planning on doing on the NOSarcade shit. A series for all the Assassin's Creeds and playing them through and whatnot. But but yeah, so. But yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn is a really good game. I like it. What I might do is buy it on PlayStation first and play it on there, and then buy it again on Steam and then play it on
Are
there.
you gonna like compare your PC to the PlayStation? Do side by side?
Well, I could do that. I don't know editing wise how I would do that, but um, I could do that and whatnot and try to compare it. I don't know
Yeah,
how
pretty
many.
much go show like the same areas,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know how many frames I get on that game. There's no
You don't
thing.
know how many frames?
No, I have no idea frame wise of what I get on that game.
You don't use
Exactly. I didn't put the thing on, even though I should put
yeah,
the MSI Afterburner or whatever. I haven't put it on yet. But I'm assuming I probably get a high frame rate on that game because I
right,
get I'm assuming I get like maybe 78, 80 FPS, but I don't know because on Jedi Survival I get about 70, 80 FPS on that game. Maybe. I'm not sure, but I think so. Yeah, from what I remember
on your PC.
on my PC. So on
Max
PlayStation,
settings or
yeah, on max settings. On PlayStation or Xbox, it's always a 60 and whatnot,
right,
unless
unless you
I
go,
do the 120 hertz if it supports it.
yeah, and you have to have a monitor that supports it.
Yeah, or a TV. But at the same time, I haven't checked, so it really I haven't checked in a while, so I don't really remember in a way, but um, so yeah, I'm assuming I get like maybe 70, 80 FPS. I could be wrong. It could be even less than that, maybe. I don't know, but I'm assuming because it's PlayStation, I might get a higher frame rate
Right.
because I could be wrong on that too. I don't know. I could be wrong on that also. It could not even matter to be honest. But my thing is I don't know why like they don't automatically let you show your frames from the in-game software or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like how Call of Duty does it, where you get to see your frame rate and
Yeah,
whatnot.
not it. They have to implement it in the code.
Yeah, basically.
See, I know my stupid little tower defense game I made for my multimedia class. I even put a frame rate counter in it.
How many frames do you get on it?
In the middle of development, like I was like caring about it at first. I was getting like 500 frames per second, but then I just started like needing to get shit done, and I
Mm-hmm.
ended up around like 100 frames per second.
Mm-hmm. Only 100 frames?
Yeah.
So, like, if you're only getting 100 frames, then if I would have played, I'll probably got like, or 500 frames, I'll probably get like 1,000 frames.
Do you wanna see? Do you wanna find out?
No, no, we're doing a podcast, so not right now. Plus,
I mean, not,
well,
I mean,
I'll
not,
see later. I'll see later, depending on how
it might
far this
be
podcast.
because it did seem like it was a different value with the um like it wasn't an engine, but in the editor version versus the um
Full game.
yeah. So like it might be you might get a slight different FPS than because I tested it mostly in the editor, but I did play it on the executable and it did seem slightly slower in the executable.
It did seem slightly slower.
Yeah, not by much. I
Uh,
have the movement based on the frame rate, so like
okay.
smooth no matter what frame rate you have.
Um, what Ryzen do you have?
A Ryzen 5 2600.
Okay, so you have like the lower end 2600s then, because they're already at like what 7,000, right? Or almost 8,000.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, because like I like Intel. I really do like Intel. I just want to see like what's the difference between like a Ryzen 9 and an Intel 9?
Um,
Because you know
well,
AMD more than I do. I know Intel, but you still even know Intel probably more than I do too.
Intel does better than AMD generally the per core um performance, and AMD typically does better than Intel the multi-core performance. So AMD typically has better throughput, and Intel has better latency.
So, is it possible to get more frames, let's say with Intel than you would with AMD?
Um, well, the honest truth is that it depends on how the game was made, right?
Okay.
Um, so if the game was made to like specifically spec out to an AMD system, then
AMD would do better
most likely there are times where it is built that way, but Intel still wins out, or the other way around.
because what Intel is just better than AMD or what?
Well, I say the other way around as well. Sometimes they'll build something for
For
Intel, but it
to AMD, you know.
will still end up being better.
So
Um,
so basically it just depends on the game.
yeah,
Okay. Because like and to be honest, when you look at AMD prices, as in like for the Ryzen 9 or Ryzen 7 or 5 or even 3, for Intel's same shit, they're the same prices. Like nothing's really like cheaper than the other.
Ryzen first came out, it was cheaper than the Intel stuff,
Indeed.
but now that they've been like a couple generations, a handful of generations and stuff,
Uh huh.
people realize, because when before Ryzen, Intel was the obvious winner.
Indeed.
Yeah. Um,
Yes.
but after Ryzen came out, it's like, well, AMD is pretty good too.
Well, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of like when you look at a Ryzen 9 and the Intel i9, they're the same like prices. It's not like it just varies of which one you want to get now. You want to
Yeah.
go for because Ryzen has what does better graphically than Intel, as in making graphics and whatnot.
Well, it has better multi-core performance. So like Intel has better single core performance, which most games care mostly about like single core, but a lot more and more games are starting to use multi-core, but a lot of stuff still relies heavily on one core.
Okay.
So
So
when it
what's E
heavily on
cores?
one core than Intel, if it relies heavily on multi-core than AMD.
Okay. So now so there's 24 cores into an i9 1400. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference between 8P cores and 16E cores?
Oh, so the E cores and the so that's newer stuff. Um, so there's the efficiency cores.
Uh
So
huh.
the E cores are actually worse, but they're there for backup.
Okay.
So it when using in use of them, it does you do notice a speed up, but they're actually slower. It's just simply having extra backup cores and stuff.
Okay.
Certain things will happen on those cores specifically, like in parallel with the other operations. It's just for parallel performance, the multi-core stuff.
So,
Cores. I forget if that's the AMD or the Intel, because I know Intel's the one that started doing that with their newer gen stuff.
so the 14th generation i9s that just came out like what I want to say a month and a half ago, I want to say
Mhm.
are able. Hold on, I had it and then okay they're able to do Wi-Fi 7, which we're only on 6E, right?
Majority of people, I believe, yeah, 6E.
They're able to do Wi-Fi 7, which I didn't even know that was a thing. To be honest.
Well, yeah, the generations keep moving, dude.
So, uh, so the AMD Ryzen 9, the 7900 one,
Mhm.
are able to do 12 core 24 thread, which
Yeah, 12, 24 threads. So there's 12 cores, and then the 24 thread is like, I know hyper-threading is Intel, but like it's kind of like fake threads. So
uh
like basically when the clock is ticking, the clock is spinning half of its phase up and half of its phase down. So then basically it splits the thread into two threads by giving each of the virtual threads half of a phase, if that makes sense.
so and 24 threads because an Intel i5 14 generation can do 20 threads.
Yeah,
So
because
and
the cores don't do multi-threading, or the E cores don't do hyper-threading. I'm pretty sure.
so if that's the case, and i9 14 generation can do 32 threads, would that mean the Ryzen 9 is on par to like an i5 then, or is that like
Oh, it doesn't. Okay, so architectures are slightly. They're both x86, so that's the important thing.
okay?
But they build. They have their own proprietary shit, right? So
Mhm.
AMD is kind of trying to copy Intel with the E core, P core shit,
Mhm.
um, because that makes the chip a lot faster. So they're competitive. I wouldn't say it's comparable to an i5. I would say their implementation does make it pretty comparable. Um, I know when Intel first started this technology, when AMD copied it, AMD they did reach the same like performance, but it consumed more power.
AMD does.
Yeah, AMD consumed more power.
Okay.
But it did achieve parity pretty much.
So
So it's
the same
less,
capabilities like what a
it's
Ryzen
less
9 can do and i9 can do.
pretty much, pretty much. But like they do when you put them on like a test bench side to side, you'll see them like outcompete each other in different aspects.
Well, yeah, like you said, probably depends on the game,
Yeah, it
and
depends on the software if
and
if it was made for it.
yeah. Well, that's like you said, like Ryzen's more made to make graphics, not and
Well,
Intel's
I'm not.
more.
It's more parallel stuff, which I suppose it would do better with graphics because
Mm,
have splitting it up that way. But a graphics card's really more made out for graphics than a CPU multi-threading.
yeah, most definitely.
It's not a graphics card.
Well, I'm just saying, like it's in that aspects and whatnot, if you really
Mhm.
look at it. But at the same time,
Editing,
huh?
if you're doing editing and a lot of like multi-core tasks, then typically AMD is better. When they first came out with that E core P core technology with Intel, um, Intel that generation of Intel beat out the copycat that AMD built. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But now that I think they're a couple generations into that, like one or two now, um, of that stuff, um, then I'm pretty sure because I haven't tested anything. I mean, I've used what I haven't used any more up to date. AMD stuff than what I've got, but I've used some Intel stuff with the school that's pretty up to date.
Well, I would assume your school would have more up to date stuff than anything because they have to be up to date. Like
Right.
they can't
I mean,
not
it's
be.
not the most up to date, but
Well,
it's.
I know, but I'm just saying they have to
I
be.
know when I was working, they just updated one of the big servers, but the stuff that the students actually using isn't the most up to date. But like some of the servers are like the most up to date. Most of the servers are not though.
So
But I know when I was working there,
some
they just upgraded a server.
some motherboards can do Intel and AMD like at the same time.
No, no, I haven't seen it ever.
Well, okay, I might have said that really wrong. They if you like let's say you get an i5 and let's say you get a
Mhm.
Ryzen 5. You can put an
No,
i5 in it or a Ryzen
no,
5. Okay.
no, not at all.
Okay.
So like I said, they're different architectures. They're built differently. They're
Mhm.
running the same x86 architecture underneath. So they're all following the x86 rules, which is and Intel made that up. So AMD has been copying Intel from the get-go, just so you know.
Well, they kind of have to like
Yeah, because AMD kind of owns that market, or Intel, sorry,
Intel, yeah,
owns
Intel.
that.
Mhm.
So so basically the pins on the bottom of the or the pads or whatever they're using now, because they're I hear AMD's no longer using pins, but they're using pads now, just like Intel. Um, but
Mhm.
the outputs on the chip and the inputs on the chip are not the same as each other. So like when they say the socket type, so they when you get a motherboard, it'll tell you its socket type.
1700, right?
Yeah, what I something like that. It'll be a socket type that it'll tell you, and that socket type is either compatible with certain generations of AMD or certain generations of Intel, but not both.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So, okay. Because like I feel like my RTX 4070 Ti, I feel like it wants to do more but it can't because of my i5. And I'm not saying the i5 14th generation would boost that, but I'm saying like
Have you looked at like so for the games that you're thinking about, have you looked at the metrics on MSI?
no, I have not.
No.
No, I have not.
Um,
But I do know when I play Modern Warfare 3, my CPU is running at full 100%,
and your
and
GPU
my
is
RTX is like chilling basically. Not even like
are your graphics pumped all the way up?
yes,
So you have the graphics maxed out everywhere,
yes,
and your CPU.
is like 100%,
Um,
and it's basically bottlenecking
what resolution are you playing on?
1080p because I'm playing on a 1080p monitor.
Right. I mean, if you pumped up the resolution to like 4K and it was still like that, because your GPU is only pumping out like your GPU can definitely do like 4K,
Oh,
right?
of course, definitely. Like I
So
wouldn't.
like if you pumped up if you increase the load on your GPU, would it balance out? Is what I'm saying. Because your CPU, your GPU might be too fast for your CPU, and that might be what's causing all your issues in upgrading your CPU. But if you tried playing on a higher resolution, that might also balance it out. Because the GPU would be doing heavier work. Because I think what's happening is the GPU is getting through its work really fast and keeps asking the CPU for more work, right? And the CPU can't keep up, so you're utilizing the CPU all the way, trying because it's always asking the
Well,
CPU for more.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and plus, like, I would assume I could do more frames for my 4070 Ti, but it can't because my CPU is doing
Can't keep up.
can't keep up. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm playing Modern 3 at sometimes 120 frames a second, but most of the time I'm not. It varies between shit. Like Black Ops 3. No, 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 no. That's terrible.
And you're not having any more RAM issues because
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not a RAM thing. It's definitely not a RAM thing. But at the same time, like Call of Duty Cold War, I can run at max frames, maybe 150 in one night. But at the same time, Core did come out at a different age than
And you're
Marvel 3.
running, what's your CPU?
i5 10 generation.
A 10th gen, and they're already on the what, the 13th, 14th,
14, yeah.
and you're using a 3070.
4070 Ti.
Yeah, yeah, you're a couple generations out from that. I mean, it's still doable. I would say definitely you probably see a different. If you see a difference in just simply increasing your resolution to like 4K or something like that, and it gets better, like the balance between your GPU and your CPU gets better, then it's probably a bandwidth issue. I'm fairly certain your GPU has a higher bandwidth than your CPU. When it comes to
That's what I'm
data transfer.
saying. As in maybe get like an i9 or maybe even i7 even like a
Mhm.
13th generation i7. See like if the i7, because i7 is, depending on what i7 you get, of course, it is better than my i5. If I get like a 13th generation i7 and get a motherboard to
Or if you
support.
even got a 13th generation i5, but you're running a 4070, you should get an i7 probably. An i5 would probably pair all right with or that a current generation i5 might pair well. But like really, you'd see the i5 paired with like the 60s when it comes to like RTX type cards, NVIDIA cards, right? Um, because i5 is like middle of the road. It's not
Well,
an i3.
well, no, it's not i3, but at the same time, like in i5, like I would say like, do you have like more of a beastie PC? You need something more than an i5, because if you have a 4090 with an i5,
Right. If you have a
that
4090,
you need
you're
an
not
i
going to be
you
running an
need
i5. But a
yeah
4070 with an i5 is doable. It's not the best thing for the 4070. The 4070 would still outdo the i5, but it would be better than your 10th gen i5 versus a 4070.
well that's what I'm saying too, and that's what I'm saying to balance out the GPU and the CPU, because you don't like, it's gonna happen, of course. Like you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
get some of that shit. It's gonna happen where something's gonna bottleneck. Doesn't matter. Something is gonna bottleneck.
A
But you,
bottleneck is always going to be somewhere.
yeah, but you want a balance between both objectives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because you don't
yeah.
want one doing more than the other. Like it's gonna happen, but if it's like a 20% difference, or even what was it, 20%
And
or
again,
50?
it would be software dependent too, because you could be testing this all on one software and then go on another. Like you get it all figured out for one, you get everything upgraded for it, then you go on to something else and you see it show right back up.
Yeah, so like it kind of, like you said, it kind of varies between shit, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, what the hell, you know? Like it
Mm-hmm.
kind of varies between what you want to do and how you want that graphics card to perform, because the graphics card and the CPU have to coexist together, because they're,
But yeah, the graphics card depends on the CPU.
yeah.
Like it's a co-processor, but it's not it doesn't have everything it needs to run a whole computer itself. You're not running a whole computer on a graphics card.
Indeed.
Graphics card getting its instructions from the
The mother
CPU.
Yeah, exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Like if you do that in a way, you can unbottleneck each thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna get bottleneck, but like every time even I think core, I think CPU bottlenecks. Like the my i5 is just, it's
Well,
outperformed.
compared with your 4070, of course your CPU is going to bottleneck.
Yeah, most definitely.
Of course your CPU is going to bottleneck. Like it didn't bottleneck as much with your 3050, right?
Mm,
Was your 3050 bottlenecking or your CPU?
to that I do not know. I don't remember. to be exact, I don't really remember which one was bottlenecking more, to be honest. I don't really know. I think my CPU was still bottlenecking more than my fucking GPU, I think. I want to say so, but I don't want to say something that's wrong.
On Call of Duty, right?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
my GPU was still chilling on my CPU, while my CPU was probably running more than my GPU was. I want to say so myself, but I don't want to say that because that might be wrong information and I might be lying. So I'm not sure on that. But at the same time, I could be saying something right and I could be saying the right things. I have no idea, to be honest. But the only way to find out is to take my graphics card out, put my new graphics card, or put my old graphics card in and see what's up. But that sounds like too much work for me.
So
So
are you still wanting me to work on the app for tracking your stuff for your YouTube or like your all that?
yes, I would. Yes, because YouTube does give me information, but
Right.
it needs more data to show that information, which is kind of like whatever. So I feel like doing that would be a better situation, to be
I
honest.
think tomorrow I'm probably gonna look into what stuff I can get from Google um to like automatically pull in the data because like otherwise I'm gonna have to have you input it yourself, which is I don't know, it might be doable at first, but
I'll get
it could get
lazy.
annoying.
I'll
Yeah.
get lazy.
You want
But
to get as late. I want to let you be as lazy as possible. So I'm
no,
going to do the
that
research.
sounds so bad. That
No,
sounds
I
so
mean
bad.
that's what the app is for. It's supposed to make it easier, right?
Well, yeah, but you make that seem so. I want you to become laziness as possible or whatever. That sounds
Well,
so bad.
yeah, I want to enable. It's kind of a bad thing. It's like you're going to get the most done and do as little as possible.
Yeah, which I would like, to be honest. Which I would like, but at the same time,
I
I
mean, for testing and building, if I can't find that stuff right away, or maybe if I have to like spend a shit ton of money to use it, then I might do manual data input.
yeah.
But
Um,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm still, to be honest, I need to give me a new motherboard and new CPU. Like, I feel like my i5 has totally like cracked out. To be honest, not
you're gonna
cracked.
sell it, sell it for parts.
No. I'm not gonna do that.
You're just gonna have a backup computer.
Well, I was gonna do my plan. You know what I'm
Get your
saying?
second computer and
Yeah,
do that.
yeah,
But now
basically.
you got the Elgato working again.
Well, okay, so damn, my computer's like fucking up. So basically, like, yes, I do have my Elgato working, and yes, it does fit into that by, I would say by force, but it does fit. But at the same time, I want to have the gaming computer have all hands on deck of just gaming. You know what I'm saying? Where I
You don't
have
want it to have the stress of
yes, basically. I don't want it to have the stress of having recording and streaming, or whatever at the same time as playing a game. I want to relieve that stress and have a PC do that, which I'm going to, yes, have to get another monitor, which if it's just going to be for recording and editing, I don't think I need to get a very fancy monitor, to be honest. I could just get like a regular, 1080p, you know, 160 hertz monitor and call it a day, to be honest. But at the same time, who knows what I might do. But just so that the PC, my PC I have, plus I want to give me a new case. I'm gonna have to give me a new case, to be honest. So to put that into play, plus I'm gonna have to give me a new power bank because the other power bank I have isn't altered. What is it called again? What is the famous word or whatever for power banks? You know what I'm talking
Isn't
about?
what?
Not altered. It's not. What's the fuck? What's the word where you don't have to plug in all the pieces and you can have some pieces out and shit?
Oh, it's module,
Module. So the power
not
bank that
modular.
it's not modular. So and I kind of want to get rid of that power bank, even though it probably is a good power bank. I kind of because it's not modular. It's just cords are just coming
Well,
out
if you're
that
getting
much.
a whole second computer, then
I was gonna give me a new power bank, another give me like a 700 power bank and modulate it basically, but um at the same time I'm gonna need to give me a new PC case, which I was gonna do is basically give me a new PC case but make that my new PC basically, and the old PC case I have basically make it look like my what it was before basically, which I already have DDR5 64 gigabytes and have DDR4 64 gigabytes, so I'm really all good
so
with that.
for this second PC, are you planning on building it or buying it? Because you already have these parts, right?
Yes, basically.
So are you
I
gonna
could
build
just
it?
build it, but I could just buy it. I could just build it and I could just buy it. But then, like, I don't want to pay it all up front. I want to do the plan thing, which I'm
Well,
already
yeah,
about to get.
if you do the build, then you can buy it one part at a time, which is
It,
pretty
it,
much like a payment plan.
exactly. But if you buy it all at once and just have the case and call it a day, or just have the PC and then you have all these extra PC parts, they're just gonna sit there, which I could sell, of course. But whatever.
Right, but like your RAM, for instance, if you get a whole, like the likelihood of you needing to like replace your RAM is really low. So like having backup RAM is going to be kind of useless.
Well,
Most RAM has like a lifetime warranty on it. It almost never breaks.
at the same time, that's what I'm saying. As in, um, cause I'm kind of always looking at other PCs that are cool, that are good at just to look at. And I'm not saying buying, just to look at, just see what's out there basically. And there's some PCs that I could get, and I can go on a plan with Amazon, which I've done twice already with the computer I do have and the 47 Ti that I get, which was both planned with Amazon. I could do that, but I'm just now getting off of a plan, and I kind of don't want to be back on another plan and having Amazon take money on my account every month. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Which that's why if I do, like, let's say get Intel i9 with a new motherboard, I can take all the pieces I took out of this other PC and put it into a new one. You know
So
what
you're
I'm saying?
saying you'd rather build it.
Of course, I would rather build it, but in my instincts and as who I am as a person, and I know you know who I am as a person,
Yeah.
I kind of just say fuck it and just go as
I remember
what's
how aggravated you got with putting together that desk.
yes.
That was,
You were there throughout the whole thing, I think, right? Or you were there for most of it. It took
yeah.
me it's not it took me 8 hours to put this desk together, which I would have to say I had a pretty fun time doing it because I was busy for 8 hours. I worked a full fucking work shift and didn't get paid. You know what I'm saying? To do it, but it was my desk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. That's payment in itself. Like
Yeah, that is payment
like
itself. But
it's more gratifying, I would say, to like do stuff yourself. Some like you're more thankful for it, I suppose.
see, at the same time, like if like let's say if I do give me a new CPU and a new motherboard, because I'm gonna have to give me a new motherboard. There's no way this motherboard is gonna be able to affect any other CPU besides the CPU I have inside of it. I'm gonna have to give me a new motherboard, but at the same time, I gotta give me a new fan, an Intel fan, because if I get Intel, then I'm gonna need to give me an Intel fan, which I don't have, which I'm gonna have to buy, which probably is what not that expensive, right?
Oh, an Intel cooler?
Well, the thing that you put onto the CPU. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, Intel cooler. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give me another one. Which the Intel cooler I have, the RGB gave out. So there's no RGB coming out of it, which I could just take it out and put the stuff on it and re-put it back on, which I don't have, to be honest, which I would have to buy. But put it back on it to see if the RGB would, start back up again. But I haven't done that, so oh well. But I would have to give me another RGB cooler. Now, I would have to probably give me one new RGB cooler because like this one still works. The one I have is just there's no RGB on it. The RGB doesn't work.
That's sad.
I know, right? It's hella sad because there's all this other RGB on it and the RGB doesn't work. Which I would probably most likely give me another RGB cooler. You know what I'm saying? Down the road, but this one I probably would just use just for the fuck of it because it still works. There's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'll probably just use that one for now. But at the same time, if I do get another PC, I'm gonna need to give me another RGB cooler because I can't have one. I can't just not have one because then the CPU is gonna overheat and it's gonna be fried to extinction. So
Yeah.
so I'm gonna need to give me another RGB cooler. Which at the same time, if I do, I could the RGB cooler that I do have, I can put back. If I do give me like a new motherboard i9, I could put back on that RGB cooler I do have, and just have the motherboard and CPU that I have just be chilling around somewhere in my room. But what if I do want to rebuild it? I'm gonna need to give me a new RGB cooler. So, but I want to give me a new case, and I want to put my new CPU into that new case. So, to be honest, what I might do, as I'm thinking, as I'm talking to you, as this podcast is going on, what I might do is keep the CPU and motherboard I have into the case I have right now, and take out the 4070 Ti. I want to get a DDR5 motherboard. I don't want to get DDR4. I want to give me a DDR4, which I have the sticks already for it, so I want to use them. To give me a new to give me a new motherboard with a new CPU and put it into a new case and keep the motherboard and CPU I have now in this case, so I don't have to fucking unscrew shit in the whole nine. And all I really have to do is get a new cooler and that's basically it. Take the power bank out, put that power bank in there, and call it a day. Like, the CPU is just gonna be chilling for a while then, to be honest. Or
Sounds like
this computer's gonna be chilling for a while.
so. Like what? If you build, so
So
you're pretty much getting because you already have DDR5 sticks.
yes, I already have
How
without
many
choice.
gigs of that?
64.
So you have 64 of that. So you're covered on RAM.
Basically, yeah, I'm covered on RAM.
A DDR5 board.
Yes, which, and then I want to
Are you
get
doing
me,
Intel or AMD?
and I want to do Intel, but it doesn't mean I don't want to do AMD. I prefer Intel because Intel has been out longer. Now I'm saying AMD sucks, but Intel has been out longer, and I preferably want to do Intel. But at the same time, if I do AMD, then I do AMD. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, what I'm saying, because I don't know, because I
I,
think it's been an extra generation, but when the DDR5 came out, it worked better on Intel anyway.
okay, exactly. Which
Yeah.
the cooler I have is made for Intel, so
Yeah.
that kind of works. I would have to give me a new cooler, which is more money I would have to spend, which I don't feel like doing. So even though I'm gonna have to give me a new cooler anyway, because to get the other PC to work, I'm gonna have to give me a new cooler. So it doesn't really matter. But at the same time, if I get me like, let's say an i7 13th generation with a motherboard that can do the i7, what I really want to do is would take this case out, keep the motherboard that I have in there, keep the CPU I have in there, just take the 4070 Ti, take the power bank, and the 4060 graphics card, and put that bitch in there. Then I would have this case really just chilling in my room, and all I wouldn't really need to do is give me a new power bank and give me a new cooler and call it a day. That's all I would
And you
need
want
to do.
preferably a modular power supply.
Preferably a modular power supply because modular is just better. You get rid of the headaches. You don't need that extra
Yeah, it's
cords
less
laying.
messy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, that's what I preferably want to do is give me a modular power bank. Which power banks are what like $100 to like depending on if you get what power bank you get. To be honest, it depends on what power bank you get. I'll probably give me like maybe a gold 700 and call it a day because I know a 600 can handle it, so I pretty know a 700 could probably power that bitch also, and basically call it a day. And then
Right.
take the 4K
Just
out.
don't cheap out on a power bank. Make sure it's a
Y-
name brand.
yes, I know. I was mostly gonna get the same power bank I have in this one, to be honest.
Right, right.
And basically, what I would do, and give me new fan, of course, because I need a fan for the Intel thing, and basically make that my editing capabilities. So, and plus I'm gonna have to give me a new monitor and probably put it and give me a arm to put the monitor on top of or put the monitor into and put it above my computer. So, and all I would really would have to do, and plus I would have to give me a new mic because so I can talk to people in game chat. And I was thinking about giving me one of those mics that you can hang on your clothes basically, but it's an
Mhm.
HD mic, and what people fucking from TV use too and whatnot. What I would do is you get one of those mics, which they're not even that expensive. Get one of those mics, hook that up to the PC part, which you talk through, which HDMI can take sound out, and it's a 4K PCI port, so it's all good. It'd be instant talk. There will be no delay, and so I can have. I've planned this out. Like literally, I've already planned this out. I can people on stream if I do stream or whenever I do stream, people will hear me talking through the HDMI that I'm using right now, and people in the game will hear me talking through the mic that's on my clothes. That's just hanging on to one of my clothes.
So in game, people will hear the close mic,
Which and
and
then the people on stream will hear the HD mic.
I gotcha.
So
And because their audio would also be going through the headset audio.
yeah, so I would hear
Um,
like as we're talking right now, I would all hear it in real time. There would be
mhm.
no. I hope. I please say if I'm wrong if I'm saying this. I hope that would be all in real time. There would be no. Even though there is a delay in Discord, there would
There
be no.
would be like it's a joke. It would be negligible, but like technically the distance between your voice and the two mics would cause a delay between the two mics, but it's so tiny that it wouldn't even matter.
Okay, cool. That doesn't. So well, that's what I'm saying because when I use the 4K, the graphics card 4K thing, every gunshot is instant. There's no delay. It's like you're playing on the TV with no, what I'm saying, regularly. So that's what I'm saying. Like when people talk, the delay is gonna be modular. It's gonna be very not modular. It's gonna be very like you're not even gonna
Minuscule.
minuscule. You're not even gonna notice. So that's what I'm saying. That when people talk in game, I'm gonna still hear it through the mic, of course, but at the same time, it's gonna
You're
be
gonna have the other mic attached to the game, and
yeah,
then
yeah. So
the headset mic attached to.
they'll still be able to hear it, which the what's it called? Which I already have the what's called for it the keyboard, which I can switch between PCs or whatnot. So that would be
So, well, are you gonna use a headset at all, or are you just gonna use the monitor audio?
no. I'm gonna use the headset. I'm
So,
gonna
like, doesn't your headset have a mic or no?
wow. Yes, it does have a mic technically, but I don't use it. Okay, so the headset is in the the where you hear out, and then
Yeah.
the pro mic that I'm using is into the part where you're able to talk. So yeah,
So you're
but
not using the mic on the headset because you're
no,
saying like you want to get that other mic
yeah,
for the game chat, but it's like you already have a second mic that you could use for game chat and a mic that. So you already kind of have the
but that
setup.
mic will only be for that PC because the PC is gonna be connected to the other the mic's gonna be connected to the recording PC part.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? The
And you're
mic,
going to use the Elgato to capture the other PC.
yes. So all the audio is gonna be coming out through through that Elgato into that PC. So the Elgato is gonna be capturing all the audio that the gaming PC is putting out into the other PC, which the headphones,
Including your voice.
including my voice. Yes. So the the recording PC is going to be capturing my Pro mic, and that's probably it, or my Pro mic, and then the recording, the 4K is going to take all the gaming PC part, take all that audio and put it into the other PC and come out into my headset, which I'll be able to hear everything in real time. Because I have a PCIe, so it's gonna be instant.
Right.
Unless that's wrong. Am I saying that wrong?
It's pretty much instant.
Well,
Like,
that's what I've
how
seen.
instant does it have to be? I mean, there's humanly instant, like where humans will notice, and then there's instant, which is impossible.
Yeah. So, which I've used the 4K thing when I was using it with the RTX 3050, and when I would play on the PlayStation Xbox, every shot I would take would be in rounds with what I'm hearing. So it was probably like a minuscule like delay to the point where you won't be even notice it. Like unless you're using the
Right.
regular Elgato, which you could notice because it's by USB. But this is by PCIe, which is instant grav grav gravital.
It's
Or
faster.
it's
It's
much faster.
yeah. If you're not noticing it, then it's instant.
Yeah. So that's what my plan kind of is to make this gaming PC I have full hands on deck as in just gaming. And then you have the other PC that's using very modular or very not powerful things as in recording and using Discord, and that's about it. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
all that would be that's all that it would be using will be just using that and possibly and editing and the whole other shit, but that's on a different scale. But yeah. So, and you don't have two things like you don't have everything running on this one PC. You have everything separated, so you
So you'd
have
be using the worst one for the streaming, and the better one
yes,
for gaming.
yes, basically. That's probably the most ideal thing I think people would do is use the better PC for gaming, and use the worst PC for streaming and whatnot. And then with PC parts, like I can possibly give like other like when I want to upgrade, let's say the worst PC, I can give away or sell, not give away, but sell other parts to make some money back or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So if like let's say I want to get a 4070 for my recording PC, even though I probably really wouldn't need it, but a 4070 for my recording PC, I can get rid of my 3050 and sell it for like profit basically.
I wouldn't say most likely
Not
not.
profit, but like sell back to make most of my money back, probably half of it.
Right.
So, and then this case is like is good. Like I like this case. It's just the case I am looking at just looks a whole lot cleaner, better, more colorful, and it's the it, like it the case just looks a whole lot better to be honest. In one night. So that's basically, and it's like $133 this case that I'm looking at. So, and it has
Mm.
vents. It has vents like out the ass.
So it's airflow.
Like the airflow looks good from what I can see. It looks cool. Like, where's the boom copy? Go to Discord. I'm gonna send this case to you. There. The case I'm looking at looks very flowy, to be honest.
So you see what I see vents out the back, bottom.
Well,
It's a
there's
lot of fans for sure.
yeah, there's a lot of fans. So like, to be honest, like, I probably wouldn't have a problem with overheating. Not saying it won't happen. But I'm just saying like, I most likely won't have a problem with overheating.
Right.
Not saying it won't ever really get hot up in that motherfucker, but at the same time, there's what, six, nine, 10 fans up in this motherfucker alone. It's gonna be really cold up in this thing, I'll tell you that. It's gonna be really cold up in here. So this is basically the case, and I measured it. It will fit in the area that I would put it, which is basically in the same area that my other PC's in. So yeah, it will fit. It's a medium sized case, which I think the other one I have, the main one I have is right now is a medium sized case too.
But they're both mid
Yeah,
towers.
they're both mid towers. So yeah, I feel like I would be I wouldn't have to worry about something being way too big, to be honest. So I feel like it would be cool. I could be wrong, but there's other cases that I've been looking at that are mid towers that have that same kind of fan out, that outline fan shit, that look even better. Like, they're a lot cheaper too and whatnot. Like, this one's kind of purplish. It's black and purple, and it has less fans. It has like 5 fans, but they're huge fans though, and it looks cool. Like, it's purple and shit. So I don't know. Like, I know airflow is a very much big key, but at the same time, what would you rather do? Make it look cool or have airflow?
Ideally, middle ground, like where it's both functional and aesthetically pleasing.
Uh huh. So you think the one that I sent you is as acceptably pleasing and airflowish?
Sometimes the amount of fans or the look of it could be deceiving. Like a lot of fans it could possibly help the airflow, but if the fans aren't configured right, then it can make it like obnoxiously loud and like, or there could be like hot zones. It looks like if the fans are configured right, that would be pretty good
Mm-hmm.
for that aesthetically pleasing. I mean, glass cases are glass cases just look cool.
You're not wrong. Glass cases do look cool. Like this other one I'm looking at that looks cool too. The one that's right next to it. And you can change the fans colors too, which look cool also. I don't know if you could change the fan colors to the other one. I'm
Mhm.
assuming you could, but I'm not sure, to be honest, because all they show is that like mint green color. So I don't know. But I'm assuming you can change the color, but I'm not sure, to be honest. But at the same time, I don't know, like, how good is water cooled? Because I know water cooled is another thing that, like, people like
Um,
using also.
Water cooling, you'll have to do a little bit more rigorous maintenance with. So like just you have to make sure it doesn't leak. You have to change the water in it.
Now,
All that.
how much do you have to change the water in it?
Like once every couple months. But like every time you do it, you gotta be pretty much like freaking out because if you put it back together and it leaks, like you pretty much broke your computer.
Mm-hmm. See, like this computer case shows water cooled. In every other case I've shown shows water cooled,
Right.
which I'll assume
Water
the I'll assume
typically,
the case doesn't matter. It defines how you put the case into play.
yeah, some cases have room for it, some cases don't. Some cases have like because water cooling uses like radiators and stuff like that,
Uh huh. Yeah.
pumps through and radiate the heat. Um, but like, and you put the fans on the radiators to like apply pressure to get airflow through the radiator. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's water cooling typically does have better performance than air cooling, but not always.
Yeah. Which you're saying like so air cool can be even better than water cooled?
In some cases, but usually water cooling is better.
MX4 thermal compound 4. What does 4G mean? With thermal, tape or whatever thermal compound, and it says 4G on it.
4G,
Uh huh.
4G,
Huh?
like thermal paste.
Yeah.
Um, I'm pretty sure that's like a standard. I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume also. I don't know. It's just a 4G on it. I know you use thermal tape, or
Yeah, it's
thermal.
just generation. Oh no, never mind. That's something completely different. No,
Thermal paste is very non-expensive,
no, it's not.
and this is supposed to last you like what, years upon end, depending on how much you use. To be honest.
Yeah, you're not going to use a lot. Like it could last you a while, but like it might go. Some of them go bad. After it's
So,
opened.
what's the difference between MX4 and MX6 with thermal paste?
I'm not exactly sure. It's the materials in it, what they're using, like how good the gunk is, pretty much.
Because this
Um,
does say thermal paste MX6 is high vo- vis- viscosity. Is that how you say viscosity? Viscosity?
yeah,
Is that how you say viscosity?
yeah,
So it has higher viscosity, which is saying thick,
yeah. It's yeah, sticky,
stick,
thicker.
thicker. Which the MX6 is 8 grams, which I don't know the difference between each other, to be honest. And it's like what, $2 or $3 more expensive. So I'm not sure. do
I
you
know.
do you use
Our,
MX4 or use MX6? Like,
I think either of them will do you fine, but I'm pretty sure what MX6 is better.
that's what it's saying here. There's MX6 2 grams, MX6 4 grams, and MX6 8 grams.
That's just the amount. So like you probably don't need much.
No, I don't think you need much at all. But I don't know, because I want to get the right thermal paste to the point where I know it's the right one. I don't get no stupid shit, to be honest. If you know what I mean. Like,
Right.
I've never used thermal paste, to be honest. I don't know how. Like, I know you
I mean,
put.
there's a lot of good ones out there. There's a lot of bad ones out there.
Mhm.
Some of them that are good but are very bad at the same time.
Mhm. This one has 5 stars, like a 4.8. So
I know Arctic is a good brand.
this is the one I'm looking at. Is Arctic. Wow.
Yeah,
This is the one I'm looking at. Is Arctic. So I'm sticking with Arctic. Fuck it.
Mutual is a good brand too.
Huh?
Noctua is a good brand.
I didn't see Noxua. I didn't see, even though I wasn't really looking. I was just looking at Thermopaste, and I ended up being on Arctic. So,
Yeah,
um,
Arctic is a brand name. Noctua,
I found Noxua right here.
yeah, Noctua is a brand name.
Noxua. Thermo.
Corsair is a brand name, but I don't know if that's TM30.
So you don't know if that one's good or not.
Yeah, I don't really fucking.
Noxua is actually more expensive than Arctic. But I don't know. I don't really know the difference, to be honest.
That's NTH1. The Arctic is using MX6 and 4, right?
Uh huh.
So like those are different compounds. So like the compound, like what's important about thermal paste is how good it is at conducting thermal heat away from the
The
CPU.
yes.
And like they use mixtures and stuff of different shit to do that. And that's what
Mhm.
the thermal paste is made out of. So like it's sticky, it's bonding the metal together,
Mhm.
like glue, um, and it's moving temperature away from one thing to the other thing. So because they're using different compounds, they all work at different performances.
And so, what do you use to wipe off the thermal paste? Like a cloth?
It depends on how greasy it is, but yeah, like you use just wipe it away. Um, and then like alcohol can help remove shit.
Okay. Cause I have been, I need to actually find alcohol wipes or whatever, because I usually use those for like my phone to like clean the phone off to make it look less
Hmm.
fingerprinty and whatnot. I just haven't found any, to be honest. And I did have a whole pack of them, and now I've lost them for some reason, and they've been lost for years now, and I cannot find them. So I'm just like fuck. But yeah, like that's kind of like my whole plan for like my computer is to do that. Now, am I ever gonna get to that point? Who knows?
Your
I
cooler might thermal pad.
huh?
Your cooler might come with a thermal pad.
What do you mean by that? Oh,
Like
it might.
yeah,
I might already have beyond there.
yeah, it's like thermal paste, but it's like a sticker.
Oh, oh, I think I saw some of that on there too, or whatever. But I don't know. Like when I was trying to take the fan off when we were doing my 4070 Ti. It was so hard to take that fucker off. I didn't want to break it. Which I don't even know how to take the fan off without fucking breaking it. Like I know like with computer stuff you can't do force. You have to gently put stuff in. But like
Yeah,
that one I
because
couldn't take out for some reason.
force, some things don't.
Wait, what you say?
But I said some things need force, some things don't, but usually they don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure to be honest. But I think we're gonna end it here because I have to get ready for work soon, and we've been doing this for 2 hours, and
Yeah,
I kind of forgot we were doing a podcast to be honest,
yeah.
because it turned into like some casual conversations.
I mean that's kind of what I was going for, just a casual comp. Like
When we started
I, th-
talking about my PC, I kind of forgot we were talking. We were even doing a podcast.
I mean that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I kind of enjoyed it. It might not be the most entertaining thing, but I'd say getting us into like casual conversations would be, instead of because you didn't like the whole newsy style that Trent's podcast had, right?
Like
Um,
I don't know. I just don't like that. I just like casual shit. Like yes, I know in the beginning part of this podcast we were going for not script, but like it was talking about video games, and then we end up transitioning into some like when we start talking about my computer, I end up transitioning to some casual conversation, and I ended up forgetting that we were doing a podcast until I looked at the show. I was like, oh shit, we're doing a podcast. Fuck. But I don't know. Like I don't like. Don't get me wrong. Like script does come into play, and script does come with
yeah,
its
having a deck, like not necessarily script, but like knowing what to.
what you want to talk about. Which this one we kind of just went off the fucking dome and whatnot. I really didn't know what I wanted to talk about. I just went off the dome in a way, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like the script part that Noble always wants to use,
Is too
it's not even too scripty. It's just like there's no flow.
right. I'd say there's a happy middle ground between you two when it comes to like style. Um, like I'd say you both are like way far off on your own edges. Like I mean, you at least acknowledge that having a script in some form is helpful. That would help balance you out.
Well, it
But like,
won't even. It's not even help. It's like you have what you want to talk about, like Call of Duty
mm,
or something that happened on the news or whatever. But if we get off topic and we start just rambling basically off
right,
to
right,
other
right,
shit, then it's no big deal. It's like whatever,
right.
you know.
But if you always go off topic, then it can easily go off the rails.
Indeed, but
It can
he
go off
oh
the
he
direction too if you're too stuck on the script and you run out of stuff to say, or like the ideas aren't there.
well yeah
And like,
that's what I'm saying. Like I like just not even just going off of the dome, but just going with the flow, just going wherever the podcast goes, and that's where it's going. Like, yes, a script is cool, and a script is sometimes a point of in need, but if you do all go off script and you just go with the flow of where the podcast wants to go, then fuck it. You know what I'm saying? That's
right.
how I look at it. Like, yes, a script is cool, and sometimes you need a script in a way. But if you go off script, which there's no harm in that either,
It's just a
then
conversation.
it's just a
Like,
conversation, you know?
right. The conversation is really because I mean, yeah, there's newsy like podcasts out there, but really, it's just about a chill conversation. It's like
Yeah, and
it's
that's what we were having now. And don't get me wrong, script is cool. I like how Noble does script, but at the same time, he wants to stay on script, which makes the podcast seem very uneasy or very not very
it
natural.
it feels cut out.
It feels cut out, and it feels like very choppy and like we're stuttering over our words then basically. And I like to do something where it's very just wherever it takes it. If we go and we talk about something and it ends up going to where we're talking about fucking Disneyland's about to blow up, then cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like it's kind of just like wherever like we take it or wherever it goes without even trying to go in that direction, then I guess that's where the podcast is going. Like, a script is cool to have a direction, to have a start even, but to stay on that same script and stay in line with that is kind of like you just start stuttering over words and you're just like you just start getting into this repetitive standpoint where the podcast just seems very repetitive, or not even just
So
repetitive, but
if I started working on like if I brought you a concept of working on like a shooter, would you learn like 3D modeling and do like and make your own Call of Duty pretty much?
it depends. It depends if it depends on a lot of things. Like I don't
Like
know.
would you like want to work on a game that
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah,
primarily on campaign, right? And then if we get to I mean multiplayer will be like an idea,
of
but basically
course.
you'd be putting stuff in for a campaign. Would you be able to like imagine a campaign?
Well,
Like let's say the first year of making it it's gonna look like trash, but we'll get the campaign done.
we gotta have a story, you know,
Yeah, yeah. But
and
like we'll be getting the mechanics of the movement and the guns in.
I feel like the mechanics and gut movement we gotta get first, and before we even get a campaign in for one. I feel like it should be. I feel like what we should do is get the mechanics and gunplay and gameplay all set out, and then we
Player
we
first.
and then we get the campaign in. You know what I'm saying? We start focusing on, because once we start we do one thing at a time. We don't do gunplay and camp and
So say like I started out right and I start working on a first person shooter,
shooter.
a multiplayer like Call of Duty. There's only one map. We test it out with one map and we just start adding one at a time. So we're first person shooter characters playing in a lobby together and we can invite people to it. Okay.
Indeed. Okay.
So we have that. Private matches, pretty much just private matches, and then I start adding in guns and stuff in different game modes.
Indeed.
But it still looks like trash. I mean, I'm not planning on worrying about the looks for the first year.
Well, yeah, that's understandable. And shit, it might even look like Roblox, even shit.
Yeah, I mean, it might honestly.
You can be BattleBit or whatever the fuck that new game came out, BattleBit or whatever the fuck. You could be like BattleBit and shit. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
battle bots or whatever.
BattleBots or whatever that basically is like
No.
Roblox and whatnot.
Oh, if it's like Roblox.
Yeah, it's basically Roblox. Yeah, you could look like BattleBit or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of like, which in that game or even Roblox general graphics are like not a thing. No one gives a fuck about
Right.
graphics.
Like when I'm conceptualizing, I'm not gonna. I might do little graphics here and there, but like none of it's gonna be final. Like the first year is just dibble dabbling around with getting the feeling of the game, and then when we get the feeling, we'll start worrying about the graphics. But like really, I don't want to worry about the graphics until we think of the campaign, because the campaign will like, is it set in the future, or are these guns laser guns or not? So like the way the guns are going to sound, not same balance of guns, but like actually change up what their models and everything look like.
With even the like, to be honest, the future can go many different ways. Okay,
Right, it could be a million.
When people think of the future, they think of laser guns. They think of whatever the fuck. But at the same time, in some movies, the future has fucking regular AK-47s and M4s and like like they don't really have laser guns. Even though yes, it's based in the future and they have flying cars sometimes, but it's.
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to make it look like put all my effort into making like beautiful graphics. Indeed. When we're just gonna like, because I'm expecting to like put things in and take things out like really fast.
Yes, most definitely.
And stuff like that.
But at the same time,
yeah,
how much future do you want to put into a game? Do you want to put futuristic but have modern day weapons, or do you want to put modern day weapons but looking modern day but not looking modern day, or do you want to put, you know what I'm saying? It kind of varies about which.
So if I was to do lasers and it's future and it's lasers, they'd be kind of like, they would shoot like the AK. So it would be like Star Wars laser guns, right?
Okay.
And not like
so like, you know, Infinite Warfare type shit.
Yeah, but not the energy beam, like the beam one that's just like a energy beam that's shooting like a line.
Well, yeah, like I feel like those are cool in a way, but at the same time,
those don't seem too hard to make. I could probably.
No, but at the same time, in Advanced Warfare, there was a gun that literally printed bullets as you shot it, basically.
Yeah, all the energy guns pretty much replenished, right?
Yeah, but see, I don't think the one in Warfare. I don't think the one in Advanced Warfare was a laser. It was literally a shot bullets, but it printed it as it was going. 3D printed it as it was going in real time. So I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but it really depends on how you want to put it into play with this game. Like, it could be futuristic, but we can have like regular ass guns. But I didn't really know, because with
the campaign, the style, because I think to make it easier, because I don't think I want to compete with like the realistic looking games, because for one, I don't expect, because if you're gonna do 3D modeling, like it might be aggravating to get it to like, oh, that gold looks like real gold, or that metal looks like real metal. I don't think either of us are at that skill level when it comes to that, right?
Well, no, not even close. But at the same time,
would you be down to make a cartoony shooter?
Like on some like Fortnite type shit?
Cartoony is what, like.
Well, isn't Fortnite cartoony?
Right, but like when we start getting into it, because like a lot of Fortnite has like all of the extra like shaders, like the reflections and stuff, so like that would be a lot of work to put in, which I'd want to put it in, but like when we're testing it and everything, it's not going to be like that for a long time.
Indeed, yes, I get that. So I would say I would say do more of the cartoony graphics, like
I mean,
how,
here,
huh?
I think it would be easier to do cartoony graphics.
Well, yeah, but you're not wrong. And at the same time, you can put as years go on, you can make them look more. You can make them look cartoony but realistic as possible, like Fortnite or
Because
Overwatch.
thing, right, is we have a multiplayer game, right?
Yes.
Um, and we do single player add-ons, which will like add weapons to the game. So like when you buy the campaigns, like it comes with a set of weapons that you have to unlock,
Mhm.
right? And then maybe even a battle pass thing on top of it.
That's
But
not for a long time.
yeah, but definitely like you buy like the game is free, the multiplayer is free. You buy the campaign to get the unlock weapon from the campaign. So you can only the weapons are then pay to win, but they're pretty much DLC, right? Um,
Basically.
so like you buy the campaign to unlock the weapons. You don't have to play the campaign, but you get the weapons and the maps from the campaign.
Mhm.
There'll
Yeah.
be free maps as well, but like the major like updates would be like a campaign update. So basically, we would be making like a big story. So like imagine would do you imagine a main character like a Master Chief that stays between all of the story, or do you imagine the players like playing as different people through the campaigns?
I don't know because it kind of. I really don't know how I want to put this into play. Do I want to make it where like it's kind of like Battlefield One, where you're kind of changing between characters, or you want to make it like kind of like Master Chief, where you're just like one character? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Or like what if we like introduce like a group? Like you know how Call of Duty like you'll play as Soap, you'll play as Maxivish, or like
yeah, yeah.
you'll
I don't
like
know. To be honest, I don't know. Like, I don't know how because we could make it one way, and then change your mind. Like, no, we'll just make it this way. Make it like what I'm saying. Like, that's
mhm.
like
Well
having one
that's
character is
the
cool.
story. But like
Like,
if we did it like that, then like when like it comes to like monetizing, because the game would be like the multiplayer would be free, like I said. So
yeah.
getting people to like buy the stuff, so like they'll be getting skins.
Mm-hmm.
They'll through buying the campaigns, and basically we through updates because I'd imagine this one game be multi-yeared. Um, like a big campaign update, one campaign update every year, which would also be multiplayer map updates. So that would be like the map packs, like I don't know, five or like maybe like 6 or 7 maps a year.
Six. Well, yeah, that sounds cool. It's like one map a month, or one
Yeah,
map every other month, or some shit. I
right.
feel like that's cool, but at the same time, it depends on a lot of stuff because I feel like we should really focus on campaign first before we even
That's
get dialed into multiplayer. Campaign should be that, and then once we have campaign dialed in, we have campaign, and the game's out even. Then
but
we,
if we work on multiplayer first though, because like if we gotta get before we even worry about the campaign and we gotta get like the balance of everything, it might be easy to get like multiplayer in, so like we can have 2 people come in and like fight each other just for testing purposes. We might have multiplayer done before a campaign then. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but multiplayer I would say is a whole lot harder to do than campaign because you really don't need to worry about balancing with guns with you in campaign because
Hmm.
if something is really overpowered, who really gives a fuck because it's AI? Like, who really cares?
So you're saying balance it out for campaign first.
I would say make the campaign first. I'm not saying balance it out for campaign because you are going against AI, even though you don't want something to be very overpowered where the game starts to get boring. But at the same time, it is campaign, and guns do get into campaign where they're very overpowered, and then when you go into multiplayer, it's very highly reduced because of
So if we did like a long campaign, would you imagine doing like let's say we did like the campaign in like 3 chapters, right? And we released the game with chapter 1, and then it's like $20, and then like chapter 2 is $20, chapter 3 is $20, and they're like, how long? So for a $20 game, how long do you think that would be? Like, how long as a player do you think a $20 game should be? As
6 hours.
6 hours?
6 hours.
So
Not including maybe like side quests and shit, unless we do an open world type aspect.
so I want to get it to like an open world, but it might be like on rails, like Call of Duty type thing.
Where it basically shows you the path through everything.
Yeah, I don't know for sure which way to go, but
Well,
yeah,
I feel like we need to talk about this on a different time. Because I have to get ready for work, and I was not planning to stay on for another 15 minutes to talk about this.
gotcha. Yeah,
This kind of
yeah,
came out of fucking left field.
I'll let you go, but think about it. Like, I think
Yeah,
that would
I'll
be
think about it for sure.
yeah, because I might start working on a first person shooter.
But okay, so it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll
Is there
catch you later.
anything you need to say to the people before we go?
Just keep reaching your dreams, I guess. Like, I mean, I haven't fully reached mine, but like, just never stop. Like, just let the ideas flow.
Okay.
Reach for the stars.
Good to know. I have nothing else to say. Peace out, Girl Scout.